The night was alive with electricity as two warriors prepared to clash under the bright lights. On one side stood Bektemir Melikuziev, the bully from Uzbekistan, a man feared for his relentless pressure, bone-crushing body shots, and unbreakable will. On the other stood Vaughn Alexander, the American veteran, a man with experience etched into every movement, his composure tested through countless wars inside the squared circle. The crowd buzzed with anticipation. This wasn't just a fight. It was a collision of styles, of mindsets, of stories. Melikuziev, young, hungry, charging forward with a mission to prove himself. Alexander, seasoned, calm, determined to halt the rise of a dangerous new star. From the opening bell, the atmosphere shifted. Melikuziev wasted no time, pressing forward, unleashing sharp hooks to the body, each shot echoing like thunderclap. But Alexander was no stranger to storms. He stood his ground, firing sharp counters, his jab snapping into Melikuziev's face, his footwork guiding him just out of range when the pressure became suffocating. Every second was a test. Could Melikuziev overwhelm him? Or would Alexander's composure expose the cracks in the bully's armor? The first round ended in chaos, both men firing heavy leather in a frantic exchange. The crowd roared, sensing they were about to witness something unforgettable. This was as the second and third rounds began. Melikuziev wasted no time in establishing his identity. Every step forward was a statement, heavy feet thudding onto the canvas, eyes locked on Alexander, and fists flying like weapons of destruction. His signature body shots dug deep, echoing through the arena, each one designed to sap the veteran's strength. Alexander, though, was calm. He had faced power before, and he wasn't about to be bullied easily. He circled, used his jab like a spear, and looked for openings as Melikuziev charged in. At times, he caught the Uzbek square with crisp right hands, the kind of punches that made the crowd gasp. Each time Alexander landed clean, he reminded everyone that experience and timing could stop even the fiercest storm. But Melikuziev wasn't deterred. If anything, the exchanges grew violent. In one sequence, Melikuziev pinned Alexander against the ropes, unleashing a vicious barrage, hooks to the ribs, an uppercut that snapped the veteran's head back, and a left cross that echoed like a gunshot. The crowd erupted, sensing a possible finish. But Alexander bit down on his mouthpiece, fired back with desperation, and somehow survived the storm. The round ended with both men glaring at each other, sweat dripping, fists still twitching. The middle rounds brought a twist no one expected. After enduring a relentless barrage, Vaughn Alexander began to show his experience. Timing became his weapon. As Melikuziev lunged forward with his powerful left, Alexander slipped, countered, and landed a snapping right hand that rocked the Uzbek for the first time in the fight. The crowd gasped. The bully was hurt. Alexander seized the moment. He pumped his jab, followed with sharp counters, and made Melikuziev hesitate for the first time. The veteran's eyes gleamed with confidence. He had survived the storm and was now dishing out punishment of his own. For the first time, Melikuziev looked human. His aggression had opened him up, and Alexander was exploiting the gaps. Crisp combinations landed flush, forcing Bektemir to step back, regroup, and rethink his attack. The audience, once roaring for the knockout, now sat on the edge of their seats, wondering if the upset was but champions or those destined to be. Don't crumble easily. Melikuziev adjusted, tightened his guard, and tried to return to the body. Still, Alexander's surge was undeniable. His shots had rhythm, his counters had bite, and his defiance reminded the world that experience cannot be underestimated. The fifth and sixth rounds were pure drama. Each time Melikuziev charged forward, Alexander tagged. By the seventh round, the fight was boiling over. Melikuziev, angered by Alexander's resurgence, unleashed his most vicious assault yet. He dug cruel hooks to the body, the kind of punches that steal a fighter's soul. Each thud made Alexander wince, his guard dropping lower, his legs struggling to carry him around the ring. The Uzbek fighter smelled blood. He trapped Alexander in the corner and launched a brutal flurry. Hooks to the ribs, an uppercut that nearly lifted the veteran off his feet, followed by a savage left hand that crashed against the jaw. The crowd roared as Alexander staggered, holding on for dear life. But Alexander refused to go quietly. With sheer grit, he answered back with a looping right hand that snapped Melikuziev's head back. The exchange was wild, dangerous, and unforgettable. Both men threw caution aside, trading leather in a display of pure warrior spirit. The arena shook with energy. Every punch felt like it could end the fight. Melikuziev's youth and power clashed with Alexander's veteran toughness, creating a spectacle of survival and destruction. By the end of the round, Alexander was bruised, battered, and clearly fading, but he was still standing. Melikuziev, chest heaving, paced like a predator, frustration mixing with determination. He had thrown everything. The final rounds were drenched in tension. Melikuziev came forward like a man possessed, knowing he had to make a statement. His fists were heavy, his combinations savage, and his determination unshakable. Alexander, though battered, summoned every ounce of willpower to survive. In the ninth, Melikuziev broke through. A thunderous left hand landed flush, sending Alexander staggering across the ring. The Uzbek pounced, throwing a brutal flurry that left the veteran swaying. The referee stepped in, warning closely as the assault continued. Alexander fought back bravely, but his body was betraying him. The 10th round sealed the story. Melikuziev cornered his opponent once again, hammering the body and head with merciless precision. Finally, after another crushing left hand connected, Alexander slumped into the ropes, unable to defend himself. The referee jumped in. It was over. The crowd erupted. Bektemir Melikuziev had announced himself again with ruthless authority. His relentless style, his devastating body shots, his refusal to be denied, all on full display. Yet Alexander, though defeated, left the ring with respect. He had stood against one of the most feared rising contenders and given everything. His heart, his resistance, his defiance made the fight unforgettable. As the dust settled, one truth echoed through the arena. Bektemir Melikuziev wasn't just a fighter. He was a storm. And storms, no matter how resisted, always find a way to break through. The fans knew